I don't remember the year, but I know for a fact that was a long time ago. I was sitting on a bench at Studio Perfection waiting for my pictures. In my hand was a copy of the National Geographic, and I was looking at a picture of a black rhino, the saddest creature I had ever seen. I think the rhino had a name, which I've forgotten, but for the sake of my story, I will call him Al. Almost each and every member of Al's family had been butchered by poachers. I recall reading that rhinos had very poor eyesight and that made them easy targets. I was staring hard at this picture of extinction, the embodiment of all shitty human behaviors, when Albert called my name. Sheena, ready. He handed me the crisp, glossy envelope that contained pictures of my grandparents' 50th anniversary. I had a little ritual. Every time Albert would hand over a new set of photos, I would take out the first two and show them to him. I would give him some context to the photographs, and being the lovely gentleman that he was, Albert would always humor me. When I got home that day, I cut out the picture of Al the rhino and stuck it on the inside of my cupboard. It stayed there for quite some time. Al, the last of his kind. Albert's family ran Studio Perfection and Color Labs off Hill Road near Bandra Station. This establishment had been around since before I was born. Every memory of almost every event worthy of a film camera was processed in this dark room. If you lived in postcode 50, chances are that you've been to Albert's studio. When you enter the shop, on your left would be a wooden bench with a Rexine covering. In front of you would be a counter where Al sat, and behind him would be the doors that led to the dark room. On the right would be another small room where the passport pictures would be taken. And on each and every wall would be photographs. A variety of faces would be looking back at you while you waited. Weddings, birthdays, communions, family portraits, anniversary parties, you name it. On display would be every possible life landmark. I always thought one day that I would make it to that wall, that something that would happen in my life would make Albert think, this is wall worthy. This needs to be shared with other people. Truth be told, I have no idea how the selection process happened. My route to the station always took me past Studio Perfection. One day, I saw a new sign that read Snacks and Baked Goods under the familiar Color Labs board. Business had dipped, and Albert's sister had always wanted to try her hand at running a little snack shop. Right next to the station, they were sure to get customers. So, for a few months, this ran. A friend tried to convince me to stop going to Studio Perfection because of the food being served. You would get grease all over your photographs. Besides, you should go to Rakesh Color Labs. Rakesh Color Labs was a new fancy place that had opened much closer to my house. But somehow the thought of anyone else developing my photos did not appeal to me. And then, as quickly as it appeared, the baked goods sign disappeared. Albert's sister's little counter did not take off as planned. Even though I would pass it every day, my trips into the actual studio became fewer and fewer. Every so often, I would see a new sign, some discount or some offer. The only time I did find myself in there was when I required a passport size photograph with very specific dimensions. Almost always, I was the only person there. The Rexine waiting bench had kind of lost its purpose. Another thing that I noticed was the pictures on the walls. There was a time when these would be updated, new faces and new events. There had been quite a few years since the same faces stared back at me. And then one day it was gone. On my way to the station, mindlessly staring out of my rickshaw, when it hit me that something had changed. The usual Color Lab sign was not there. I stopped the rig and went to investigate. The store was bare. The walls that were once cramped with other people's photographs were now eerily empty. The Rexine bench had gone, and the doors that led to the dark room were missing. In fact, the whole wall was missing, exposing the back of the store, something that I had never seen in all of these years. The only thing that was left was one table and one computer. We have sold. I'm going to live in Canada with my son. I turned around and it was Albert. I did not have anything to say. I guess this was inevitable. With smartphones being everywhere now, the human relationship with the photograph had changed, and in this new dynamic, there was very little space for people like Albert. I wanted to give him a hug. I wanted to thank him for everything, but I did not. Instead, I asked him why he still had the computer and printer set up, to which he told me that there are few people who got some passport pictures taken and he was waiting for them to come collect it. You know, I might have a picture of you. You took one 6 months ago. Maybe it's still saved. Albert went and checked, and sure enough, there was a passport sized photograph of me. I asked Albert if I could get another copy, and he agreed. He printed out 4 copies, cut them into perfect little squares, stuffed them into a tiny envelope, and wrote on it June 2015, Studio Perfection. I kept that picture of myself taken by Albert in my wallet. It stayed there for quite some time. Whenever I would look back at that picture, I would think of Albert, and I would think of Al, the black rhino. Worlds apart, but both the last of their kind.
Thank you so much for watching this video. All of these incredible visuals were created by Gaurav. So head over to Instagram, search for Patrani Machi and follow him because he's doing some really cool work and you do not want to miss out. You also do not want to miss out on some of the cool stuff that is happening on the Kommune page. So if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to forward it, to share it, to comment. Yeah, we'd love to know what you think.